Hi, distance learners. I hope that you are having a great Friday so far. Today we're going to continue talking about the map of Mesopotamia. We're going to look at how the features that we located on the map affect the people that began to live there. All right, so let's get started. First of all, I know that yesterday you were able to upload this key, this map key, and you were able to look at the map practice and practice it over and over. I hope that you practiced it without looking at your map a couple times, just so that you could make sure that you know where each of these things are. There will be a quiz coming up next week that will include the map as well as information that we're learning today about geography. We're going to be reading an article about how these places, how the geography of Mesopotamia affects the people that live there today. And as we read the article, I want you to be looking for 3 different things. I want you to be thinking about the advantages of this place, of why it's a good place to live, the problems with this place, why it's a bad place to live, and solutions that people make in order to help them survive better in this place. So let's get started. I'm going to read this for you today in this presentation just to help you with your reading comprehension. Of course, if you don't want me to read it to you, if you'd rather read it yourself, you do not have to continue the video, but I will show you quickly at the bottom what you're going to be doing. You're going to be filling out this chart today. That's why I wanted you to think about the advantages, problems, and solutions, because you're going to be taking notes as you read. I'd like you to do bullet points or dashes and write down when you find information that goes in either of these columns. Please be detailed in these notes. Even though they're bullet point, don't just put river. Yes, having a river is an advantage, but I need to know why the river is an advantage. Okay, so you might want to say something like, the river provides fresh water and fish. This would be more detailed. This would be a better answer. Okay? Same with problems. We know that it's going to be hot there. It's the Middle East. It's the desert. But that's not enough for this assignment. I want you to explain from the reading why the temperature being very hot would be a problem for the people. So now I'm going to read the article and explain some of it to you. You're welcome to continue watching and listening, but if you'd like to read it on your own, you may stop the video and read it on your own and then come back to it. Mesopotamia comes from a Greek word that means the land between 2 rivers. This is because the region was located between the Euphrates and Tigris rivers. Mesopotamia is not a civilization itself, but is a region where many civilizations emerged. In fact, Mesopotamia is considered the cradle of civilization because the earliest archaeological evidence of agriculture, written language, and cities was discovered there. Sir Leonard Woolley was the archaeologist credited with finding the most artifacts from Mesopotamia. The art, weapons, and tools that he found help us better understand the people who lived there. He even found a large cemetery containing treasures like precious metals and gemstones. In 1935, Sir Leonard Woolley was knighted for his contribution to the field of archaeology. I wanted to show you some pictures of Sir Leonard Woolley and some amazing tablets and Mesopotamian objects that he uncovered. I thought it was really cool when I read that he was knighted. What that means is that the Queen of England made him a Knight of England, which is so cool to me because I actually didn't realize that the Queen still does this until just recently when I was studying Sir Leonard Woolley and studying for this unit. Just like in medieval times when a king or queen would make someone a knight for their bravery or for their honor, Sir Leonard Woolley was actually knighted by the queen. Let's keep reading. Mesopotamia is located in a river valley. Most early civilizations we learn about this year were located in river valleys. Early people settled in river valleys for several reasons. The land close to the rivers was flat, making it easier for farmers to plant crops. The rivers nourished the soil and provided fish to eat and fresh water to drink. The rivers also served as highways on which people could travel from one place to another, exchanging goods and ideas. Mesopotamia is part of a larger region that is known as the Fertile Crescent. The land was good for farming. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers carried silt down from the Zagros and Caucasus mountains. During the rainy season, the rivers would flood and that silt would spread across the plains, making the soil fertile. Since the land was abundant with crops, villages were formed that eventually led to the first civilization in Mesopotamia, Sumer. Let's take a closer look at pictures of river valleys. But first, I do want to finish my point here because I forgot to tell you something that was important about this slide. I wanted to talk about Sir Leonard Woolley today to encourage you, those of you who are very interested in ancient history. I know there's a few of you out there. There has to be. I love history, but I know there's some of you that love it too. If you're interested in being an archaeologist, it would be a really, really cool job, and you could be a knight. So I just wanted to point that out. River valleys. Most civilizations we'll learn about this year started in river valleys. Mesopotamia is right here. Egypt we'll talk about. India we'll talk about. China we'll talk about. All formed around a river valley, which is where the river is meeting a larger body of water and where the river is flatter, where the land is flatter, like we read about, so that the water could fertilize the soil around it. So river valleys are very important to survival of early people. Let's keep reading. The Sumerians, the first peoples to live in Mesopotamia. The Sumerians were excellent farmers. They used sticks to poke holes in the ground and dropped seeds into each hole. This was hard, slow work, so the Sumerians developed plows as a better way to prepare soil for planting. The plow would create trenches instead of holes and loosen the soil so the crops would grow more easily. Eventually, the farmers found that hitching oxen to plows would speed up the process. Sumerian farmers were also the first known people to use the wheel. They used the wheel on their plows to plant seeds even faster. So I know some of you were always wondering, my students in the classroom were always asking me during our prehistory studies, when was the wheel invented? Who invented the wheel? And I was like, hold on, I'll tell you in a little bit. So it was the Sumerians, actually, who were the first people, we think, to start making the wheel. And I want to show you a picture of what maybe their plows may have looked like. So they were hitched to oxen or horses by a yoke. And the word yoke is used often in the Bible. It just means to hitch together two animals so that they can work together. And they would attach their plow to the animal, and their plow would have wheels on it, and then it would have a trench kind of device that would cut the ground and make it easier to plant seeds. The land of Mesopotamia had some problems, though. So we're seeing already some advantages up here, some solutions in this paragraph, how the problem of hard, slow work was solved by Sumerians, and now we see some more problems, that sometimes during the rainy season, the right amount of rain fell, but other times the region received either so little rain that the crops withered from the heat, or so much rain that the crops were destroyed from flooding. Sometimes the floods killed the livestock and washed away homes too. Sumerians formed levees by building up the dirt to hold back the floodwaters. The levees protected the Sumerian homes as well as their crops. Most of the area surrounding the rivers was a desert, specifically the Arabian Desert to the south, which you labeled on your map. During the summer, the ground became dry and hard under the hot sun. Today, the temperatures there can reach over 118 degrees in July and August. With no rain for months, the plants died. To solve this problem, Sumerians developed irrigation as a way of supplying water to the crops. They built storage basins to hold water supplies. They built canals or man-made waterways to carry water from the river. The canals allowed the farmers to plant crops in locations that were far from the river. A farmer could use irrigation to keep his crops alive during the dry summer and to feed his animals. The Sumerians made good use of the water from the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. The Sumerian civilization depended on irrigation for agriculture, just as farmers do today. So let's take a look at irrigation. Whew, can't talk this morning. Irrigation. That is how the Sumerians are going to be watering their farms. And it's really, really amazing that they made this almost like a system of running water, like pipes running through the streets. I went on a mission trip to Haiti about 2 years ago now. I love it there. And it was such an amazing trip. And they actually have this almost exact system running through the streets of Haiti today. They have these trenches that carry running water through them, fresh water that the Haitians use to brush their teeth, to wash dishes, and to bathe in sometimes. So really fascinating. And the levees that were built were kind of like doors. So you would put the levee in the water and it would stop the water from flowing one way and have it water this area. And then you could open the door and have the water flowing this way. But they were able to control the water flow by using levees and canals. Now that we've read the article and talked about different pieces of the article together, I want you to do what I explained at the beginning. I want you to fill in this chart with notes from the reading, advantages, problems, and solutions. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Please be sure to share this assignment with me as well as post it on LMS. I'm still missing a few of your original maps that you made, the maps of Mesopotamia from Wednesday. So if you haven't shared those maps with me, don't forget to do so, and share this assignment with me as well before 11:30 p.m. tonight. I hope that you all have such a wonderful weekend, a restful and fun weekend. If you need anything today, please reach out. Please email me. It's hard for me to know if you need anything or have questions or comments or concerns or prayer requests. Just let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Hope you have a great day.